Efficiency Unlocked is hosted by two tech-savvy physicians and dear friends of mine, Drs. Adam Karu and Dale Gold, who are experts in using technology to automate routine tasks and increase efficiency in everyday and business life. Let's see what they have for us today.
Stay tuned for this series of episodes where we'll be discussing the game-changing impact of AI in the realm of patient care and physician well-being.
Get ready to unlock efficiency with NerdMDs.
Efficiency Unlocked.
We have a lot of this freedom, and yeah, we're just like enjoying this freedom at the same time and just innovating, right? And all of the innovations come directly from the users. Like we don't hire like doctors to let us know their ideas. Like no, we actually talk to doctors directly to our users, and if we find some consensus of features or ideas, then we implement that. And we have like this sort of like democracy where we listen in that way and we implement and innovate in that way based on, first, number one, the pain of the users, and then number two, how we can propose and then innovate and democratize the innovation itself.
Fern Cowan is the founder and chief architect of DeepCura, having started the company a little over a year ago. As you will hear on this episode, he has a small yet mighty team, no VC backing, and a scrappy nature to listen to his customers and deliver a great and evolving product. I hope you enjoy this conversation with our NerdMD's guest this week, Fern Cowan. Welcome, Fern. I appreciate you taking some time today to talk to us on the NerdMD's Efficiency Unlocked podcast. Look forward to learning more about you and more about the company that you're currently trying to scale up. So welcome to the show.
I appreciate the invitation. And yeah, so far I feel excited to talk about some of the things that we're working on right now.
Excellent. Yeah, you're actually one of our first guests where somebody replied to one of our previous show releases that recommended we reach out to you. So, I love how that snowball effect happens in this space. So, and obviously myself and Dale, who couldn't be here today, we love learning about these different companies that are, coming up in the AI space and just the creativity and the different things that they're working on. So, really look forward to hearing more. We so briefly before we started recording, I asked you kind of a little bit about your background, but do you mind sharing a little bit about your background, kind of your origin, how it's kind of led you to ultimately be in this place with the company DeepCura?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think the relevant part of my background will be 7 years ago when I started in the Bay Area, San Francisco. I lived there for 7 years in my life, and then I work and collaborate with some top Silicon Valley startups from the marketing perspective. Mm-hmm. So I have an agency. I'm not very active in the agency anymore due to my current role at DeepCura. Cowan agency, basically, we just do marketing for tech startups in the Bay Area. However, 2 years ago, 2022, I felt, I think we all felt in the Bay Area, specifically in the advertising industry, the revenue the ecosystem just dried up incredibly. So it was mainly for two things. One of them, the rise of AI. Basically now you don't even need to hire a producer. You can just go to Synthesia. It's not affiliated link. I don't endorsement, but you can literally go to Synthesia and pay $50 and get a corporate looking video, right? You don't have to pay $5,000, $10,000 for that. So I think a lot of new AI companies embrace that innovation and really democratize, maybe that might be the right word, mm-hmm. the video production quality. So that really took away a lot of my business. So and that, and also the state of the economy at the time, I feel like a lot of startups were just dying in the Bay Area, and crypto as well. Like a lot of things were just down. So I was put in a very harsh situation where I had to adapt, and so I got married, and then my wife, she said, she had this, we both had this naive idea, like, oh, you should try your software development, right? Or development, right? They always have a job or something like that. And we believed that. And then now with ChatGPT, also naively, I thought, oh, you can just go to ChatGPT and write some code. And I just thought that. So I did that. And in the beginning, I had like this fallacy, like, oh, wow, yeah, it's really easy, right? But then as soon as I went deeper into the industry, I realized it's really hard. So, but I was there and already, so I was like, okay, I'm not going to backtrack. So I just like kept into it and went through this suffering. And then basically I was able to figure out everything through two strategies. Hiring really like top experienced people in Upwork or other marketplaces and just paying them like right away from the consultation. And that's also at the same time, AI just became better at writing code. And it was like these three different layers that were like tectonic plates that were adjusting, myself, growing as a architect and developer, learning from like top people, and at the same time, AI itself, becoming better. So I found that the best architecture and structure to really streamline my education. And yeah, I think that's a summary of how I adapted. I did something similar, like 14 years ago. I actually studied culinary arts. That's like my major. But then it was the same story. I came out of college. I was like, you know what? I'm not making any money at all. So I just transitioned to the video production industry. So like every 10 years, I do that. Sometimes I adapt and I transition into a different industry. So now I did it for software development. And also, to be fair, I've been working with healthcare companies like since 7 years ago. And actually even a very popular AI medical scribe company, I was able to work with them. I learned a lot from them and in the industry. So I already had a lot of experience to be fair. It was not like, oh, I'm just going to code in ChatGPT and tomorrow and just launch a startup, right?
No, that's a really cool background. I mean, didn't gather that story that you just shared, from kind of scooping you out on LinkedIn and whatnot. But no, it's cool following those opportunities and taking your drive to try and figure out these things and find out solutions. So, and you mentioned right there at the last second that you had worked with another company that was kind of in this space to kind of get some info. But is that what kind of catalyzed you to consider starting up a company of your own?
Many things at the same time. One of them was a factor. Like the way I think about it is, okay, what ingredients do I have in my mind? What resources, what knowledge do I have that I can like create this recipe? And instead of going back and starting from scratch, maybe I can recycle, some of that knowledge that I have. Sure. So that's what it is. I was like, I was like, what is the best strategy based on these ingredients that I have in my inventory, in my mind, right? So that was one factor, my experience in the AI medical scribe industry since like 5 years ago. And then another factor was just seeing by firsthand how inefficient was like this, not mentality, but like I myself as a marketer, I was able to launch many healthcare startups with VC funding. So I was myself witness of how much, what is the right word to use? It's politically correct. A lot of waste. So a lot of waste. So I was like, wow, there's a lot of money being wasted here. So that really gave me the confidence of like understanding that when you see a VC-backed company, they have a lot of funding, but a lot of that by firsthand is really wasted. So it doesn't really intimidate me when I see that competitor raise a lot of money, because I know myself how much waste goes into that. So that was one. There was another company that is not even healthcare. One time they were reaching out to me to do like a marketing campaign, and they just really wanted to do like, they just want to do something that I cannot say, but it was just a lot of waste in marketing budget. So you've seen that, plus my experience, plus believing that the healthcare industry, even though if we were going to enter into a recession, it was a good industry, resilient. Even though ironically, now that I'm in the space, a lot of doctors say like, you know what, this is not actually true a lot of the times. So there's a popular belief that healthcare industry performs well even if we go into a recession based on like, because it's defensive market or whatever. So that was also another hypothesis. So I believe all of that and I jump into it, and so far thanks God it turned quite good. So I was one of the lucky ones this time, right? But we will see.
Yeah. So when did DeepCura like officially kind of start? I mean, not in concept, but like, as like
Yeah.
as a company.
So I like to divide DeepCura's journey into like two. So officially, like from concept, like 13 months ago, probably last year, March, we're April. Yeah, 13 months ago. But then we had a big transition where, basically, the way DeepCura started, it was not even called DeepCura. It was Hello Alicia. So there's like Polish name. So we launched this, and I just literally downloaded. There was a popular YouTube video that was going viral of an AI assistant, and it was like open source project. So I just downloaded the project from GitHub, and then I just like tweak it out with the help of ChatGPT. And then obviously at the time, obviously it was not even HIPAA compliant. So I was truly being transparent and say, do not add any PHI data to this project. So please anonymize fully all of the nodes. So it was a widget that I had at the time, but that widget, which I was selling for like $9 per month, the big differentiator that it had, it was that you were able to add your own prompt, to the node. So it was like right off the bat have like this hyper customizable aspect to the node, which another competitor had at the time. So that really set me apart, even though it was just a widget. I was just selling that for $9 per month, and and then I was getting some traction. And then one time I sold a corporate contract with like a psychiatry company, and then when that happened, I was like, you know what, should I stay in this, or what should I do? And I thought, you know what, the healthcare industry is quite, it should not be taken as a joke. So I thought, I should partner with someone like a veteran or something. So what I did is I went to acquire, and I listed the company, and I met with this angel investor. He invested like $20,000 in the company, and I gave like 49% ownership to that. And that's it. I'm still the major owner, but he's really like, he's a veteran really in the healthcare industry. Just for privacy, I don't want to mention his name.
Sure.
And he should have no problem with that. But he really like gave all of the corporate expertise. He's been in the industry for more than 20 years. And the most important aspect is that he's an engineer himself. So he provided all of this background with the HIPAA compliance, how to launch an AWS, the HIPAA compliant cloud. So basically, he provided all of that expertise. And when that happened, it really gave me a lot of confidence to really launch a product. And then after that, I really met another really brilliant software engineer with a lot of experience, like more than 25 years. And then with him alone and myself and a physician that we have in the team, so we're just three at the time.
Yeah.
So that's a bit crazy, but we can go in deeper into that. But the point is that when that happened, when that partnership, and this person just added all of his insights and experience, it really launched the company. We were able to grow a lot in users and overall.
No,
and that's what really fell to the DeepCura.
That's very cool. I mean, actually, that last part you just mentioned, the just being three so far now working on this. I mean, it reminds me, I recently listened to the two guys that started Solo Stove, the little camping stove that, keeps, and it's the same thing. It was like the two of them forever. Like, even when that company was pretty big, like it was still just two of them, and they were handling everything, which makes you realize how much you can do, with a very efficient core team. Yeah,
I think the reason why I want to keep it like three, I mean, sometimes part of me is like, oh, I wish we could win a Guinness record or something like that. But just getting away from my delusional thoughts is, number one, I don't want to raise capital because the nature of the healthcare industry and AI overall, it's so volatile. Like same like Bitcoin. What I mean by this is like tomorrow, I don't know, we could have AGI and our whole business model could be just like, I don't know, like not so efficient. I mean, we were at the moment, and we can go into detail about that. We have a lot of innovations that we can talk about later.
Sure.
We're very competitive right now, but but I just feel like I can sleep at night. We have full autonomy. We don't even. I don't want to sound like I'm bragging, but we don't need the money in the sense that the company is like cash rich. So we can just reinvest the money without issues or spending marketing. We just got a grant from Microsoft. Like, it's not a lot. It's not like billions. It's like 150K, but it's something, right?
Yeah.
So we can play with that stuff and then and just be like, yeah, like take healthcare in the serious way it deserves. But at the same time, we have a lot of this freedom, and yeah, we're just like enjoying this freedom at the same time and just innovating, right? And all of the innovations come directly from the users. Like, we don't hire like doctors to let us know their ideas. Like, no, we actually talk to the doctors directly to our users.
Sure.
And if we find some consensus of features or ideas, then we implement that. And we have like this sort of like democracy, where we listen in that way and we implement and innovate in that way based on, first, number one, the pain of the users, and then number two, how we can propose and then innovate and democratize the innovation itself.
Yeah, super good approach. I mean, you always say, got to go to your customer, right, to figure out what they want. And, different companies, I think historically have taken different approaches to that, big and small. But yeah, I think in healthcare, you gotta go to the front lines and see what is actually happening there. It's the nature.
A lot of doctor actually in the next weeks, I'm going to go myself with the medical doctor of the company. We'll see, but definitely myself into the actual clinics of our users to really experience by firsthand, what's going on, right? I think something I really like, I heard a story. I mean, I might not even know if it's true, but I heard something like the CEO of Uber actually started to take Ubers, and he realized a lot of inefficiencies. So we want to do like a similar approach. And obviously, to be fair, this was not my idea. The actual user says like, hey, you know what? You should come to the clinic so you see how the workflows are like.
Yep.
And I thought, you know what? That makes sense. So yeah, we're going to start doing that to really have a better understanding, because there are two, obviously, I myself am not a doctor, but I'm in the business of improving workflows, right?
Sure.
We're not in the business of creating diagnosis. So our job, DeepCura, is to work with the doctor and understanding how we can improve his workflow, right? So, and obviously, they are the best ones to let us know how we can improve that.
Sure.
So yeah, I think that's what we're trying to do, and yeah, just trying to be how's that cliche statement that the wife says, like, oh, you should listen, right? So we just have to be good listeners, I think, to our audience, and I think that
taking that feedback, turning that into actionable engineering changes, software, solutions. That's a great approach. I mean, let's dig in a little bit more into like DeepCura, because I mean, I know you post a lot on LinkedIn, which I love, and I love how you post, the actual kind of like demo of what you're talking about too. It's because I feel like, a lot of companies in this space, everything is kind of shrouded behind mystery. You have to set up a sales call, or you got to get some sort of, to get a demo. It can be a little bit of a hindrance. And I mean, I just say, I appreciate looking at the website and from what you post that you are pretty forward with, what you're developing. And I mean, I appreciate that as a physician leader in this space.
Yeah, I mean, that same frustration you have, we share the same, like why, and I still at the moment, we don't understand why they do that. I might assume that the reason why they do that is because they want to protect the IP or something,
sure,
or their strategies. However, our approach is simply like full honesty, we don't want to sell to physicians. We just want to show the science of the workflow, and they can evaluate, and they can even give us feedback if it works, or we can change. But yeah, everything we share is like, ironically, like zero marketing. Like, the videos are not edited at all. It's like just a screen video of how it works. And then and yeah, we actually don't have a sales team. We the only thing we do is we provide demos, but these demos are executed by our physicians. So and they don't discuss like, hey, can we sell you some memberships? No, it's like they discuss templates, like clinical workflows, and the science behind DeepCura. But we don't sell per se the company. We just share what we do, And I think that's I think you are the best judge here, because they say that it's cliche as well that it's very hard to sell a physician, and obviously because you shouldn't sell to a physician, right? I mean, obviously, I'm okay. I don't want to say anything weird here, but what we're trying to do is just show the way things are done, and that's it. Show the application, and that's it.
Yeah, that's how you win people over. I mean, that's a good approach. So why don't we get into some of the details of like what DeepCura can do? Because I think, I think that, a lot of the guests we've had on this podcast, have shared about their product. And I think there's clearly lots of overlap in some of it. But yeah, maybe highlight a few of the things that you think are kind of, the great things right now, and possibly even some of those things that maybe differentiate, from what you've seen kind of in the marketplace so far.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate that. So basically, DeepCura has a lot of differentiators. So one of them is like the ability to have this longitudinal context. So basically, you can append on the thread different encounters as they go, and then you have like this built-in Legos kind of thing where you can delete temporarily a block, and then basically use that longitudinal context however you want, whether you want to ask any question about the data, or you want to make a dynamic mind map a la carte. Let's say you want to make a mind map of the drug interactions of all of the encounters, or you want to make a Gantt chart, right? A Gantt chart is basically a timeline for those users who are not familiarized with Gantt charts. So basically you can see the whole life of the patient via timeline based on all of the encounters or the single encounter. So basically you have all of these visualization features. It could be a table, it could be like really anything at this point, or at least a lot of formats, right? And obviously with this, you can also hyper customize the node with your own formats via the prompts. For those users who don't understand what a prompt is basically a set of instructions that you give to the AI so that you can have a reproducible output, right? So, but with the prompt comes some issues, right? That the doctors need to learn how to make prompts and prompt engineer and all of that. So for that, we solve part of the issue by basically you import 3 of your favorite nodes, and then the AI takes a look at your sample nodes, and then you don't have to make a prompt anymore. You simply import the nodes, and then DeepCura analyzes your sample nodes and makes a node based on your patient recording and those nodes, and then you have a pretty good node based on the feedback that we have received recently. However, this approach is not appropriate for like very long and complex nodes. Let's say a psychiatry node with more than 100 headers or something like that.
Sure.
So we have more stuff. We have the AI nurse, which is highly polemical right now. But we, from the first go, we disclaim this is not an actual nurse. It's a software technological piece of software that it will help you to automate. We don't give medical advice. All of that disclaimer that you find everywhere. Yeah. But the AI nurse, what's something funny is that we actually trademarked that. So you can go to Google right now and go to USPTO, and you can find our trademark there. It's pending. So we did that.
That was smart.
Yeah. Because I feel, so something funny. We made the press release like a month ago, and then NVIDIA came up with the healthcare agents, but for some strange reason, like all of the press was referring to the healthcare agents as the AI nurse.
Yeah.
So we never understood how it is that they were calling it the AI nurse if they never mentioned that. So that was interesting. However, anyways, the point of the AI nurse that is, so we haven't tried ourselves the AI nurse from NVIDIA, which seems pretty cool to be fair.
Sure.
We could try it out, but it was behind a sales demo, so we still are not able to compare that healthcare agent with our product, right? But with DeepCura, basically, you get to hyper customize the routine however you want, whether you want to simply create a note based on a specific template, or you want to add like a set of instructions or steps that maybe, let's say, first make the routine for the pre-chart, and then at the end, let's send a booking link or a payment link or a consent form. So basically, you can send all of that via links. And basically, based on conditions, you create your own routine that can be adapted to your own healthcare organization, your specialty, or your clinical bias, right? So that is the cool thing about the AI nurse, is that you can make it however you want. You can embed your knowledge base. it's pretty cool and has this human voice as well.
And then that nurse, though, like, so that component, there's obviously there's a layer of kind of like automation in it, but can like a patient interact with it too?
So the way it works is you set up your routine first, and then you set the patient, right? And then you put the email of the patient, and you click submit, and then the patient receives this email with a password, for security. So the patient inputs the password, and then it gets access to the actual AI nurse and has this interaction where it is welcome by his name. He said, "Hello, Adam. How's well, it doesn't say how is your day going, but it says something like, I'm an AI nurse assistant here to help you with your medical assistance, something like that. It says something professional, I promise. But yeah, they have that welcome message that is personalized. It sounds human with a human voice. You can test that out later for free, and then it starts the routine that you selected previously. So you can also automate patient messaging from the perspective that you can package all of the clinical notes and then also embed, let's say, like an up-to-date article that you really trust or any scientific resource that you think it can be educational. And then basically it acts as context. Now, something really clever that we did is for the oral routines, there's a safety loop that the AI nurse has that actually I didn't see this advertised with NVIDIA's AI nurse, that we have a safety loop where at the end of any generated AI documentation, the AI nurse asks to the patient itself, "Hey, this is the final summary. Can you corroborate if this is accurate, or is there something that I missed?" So the patient says, "Yes, it is correct," or "No." And then if it says no, then it asks, "Okay, what did I miss?" And then goes through the feedback loop, right? So that is a really, I think, a powerful mechanism that really add safety to the overall routine. But yeah, that's pretty much a gist of how it works.
Yeah, no, and obviously people can go to the website too for DeepCura, and it's chock full of all the different features, and I think there's even some stuff called out that it's in beta development, but like you still show screenshots and kind of even some little animated kind of demos of it. So no, that's great. I mean, can you based on the end users that have been using the product now, do you have any kind of story from one of the end users that you can share anonymously, like of just the impact that they've had from using these tools?
Yeah. Today, actually, it was an amazing day because we had this meeting like 2 hours ago or something like that with a corporate user that basically witnessing how one of their physicians basically tried all major platforms, all of our major competitors, and they were so intrigued. They were saying, "But how is it possible that what is happening behind the scenes that DeepCura's node is so much superior to their competitors because they tried like 5 of the major like emblematic choices that we have today." So they were curious about that, and one of them is basically, we just say one of them, the major competitive advantage that we have is that number one, the prompt that you're inputting that works as input is very customizable. Mm-hmm. So basically, the physician was adding as input a very efficient prompt so that it retrieved the exact node that they needed. So that was why it was superior. If you are aware of all competitors, you don't have that customization approach where you can go as deep as customize the instructions of each individual header, right? So that is really a problem that they have where they're making these slightly cookie cutter kind of nodes because they are constrained by a default AI that they're basically manufacturing, right? So that is number one. And then number two, we have a sophisticated understanding of how prompt engineering works. And that also allows us to have an edge on the overall quality of the nodes. So that was something that is fresh in my mind that happened today. But overall, I think, let me see if I remember something that they like a lot. I think they like that is like this combination. It's like combination between ChatGPT, but it's like HIPAA compliant, where they can truly ask like free open questions about their patient data. So that is powerful as well. They like that, and then they're very excited about what is coming next. So we transition from this AI medical scribe model. The reason why is because now there are like a million AI medical scribes. I feel like even a high schooler can now make an AI medical scribe in ChatGPT, right? So yeah, we transition now. We are on AI clinical hub automation platform, and we want to basically consolidate all of the clinical mess or all of the highly complex healthcare data. We want to consolidate that and use DeepCura as a hub. So basically, centralize all of the patient data from different sources, fax, PDF that might come as from email or referrals, the notes, also making a very user-friendly interface for the EHR. So obviously DeepCura is not an EHR, but it can be used as a how can I say this? When you're going to the train and this place where you're waiting for the train, like this stuff.
Yeah, like a train station or a hub, like kind of
Exactly. So the problem with the EHRs currently is that it's very hard for physicians to retrieve like clinical data. They have to based on the feedback that we get, is what they say is that they have to make a lot of clicks to figure out or to consolidate a lot of the patient data, and they have to navigate a lot of menus. So, but if with DeepCura, via the APIs and our integrations, we can consolidate all of the patient data from the EHR via API, So basically we send all of that bundle data to the AI engine, and then based on the prompt, the physician can summarize, or the clinician can summarize into any format, all of the patient data from their EHR, right?
Sure.
So basically is, just consolidation of clinical data and just making it very user-friendly for the physician, the clinician, to retrieve data and to summarize data and to really relieve this cognitive burden of chasing documents. Yeah. So we're trying to solve that.
No, that's great. I mean, I can definitely say the biggest thing that holds up clinicians from being able to do more, which is obviously what we all want to be able to do, want to take care of more people, handle more problems, is it's usually it's that information gathering, whether you're gathering it from the patient themselves or you're trying to comb through, information that's available in the EHR or other sources. And that, it's funny because I feel like years ago I used to talk about this, that at some point I was like, man, there's going to be a technology that is going to help with all of this. You're going to be able to interact with a whole group of people, a whole group of patients, way more than you could physically do in a single day now. And you're going to be able to do it in an easier way. And I think, by surfacing this information, because really a clinician, a physician specifically, I mean, we're trained to take the information in front of us and help make an assessment and a decision on it. That's what medical training is. Sure. I mean, that's what our tests are. I mean, it's a vignette and then what is the answer, so and the hardest part is getting that vignette, so what you just described, I think it is something that's deeply, deeply needed to allow anyone to be able to operate at a higher efficiency and hopefully better accuracy, quality, et cetera.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, what we're looking for is really two different things, right? To really make our users happy, just give them what they want. And it is not easy because, as you might know, every clinician is very picky in a powerful and healthy way. You should be picky as a clinician because it's the health of people you're dealing with. So because of that, every clinician has a different workflow, a different style, in the way they write their notes. So DeepCura we want to be able to give them that. So basically have this AI that learns the style of the physician, the clinician, and it's able to give them exactly what they need. But now, we all understand that it's now way beyond the notes, right? We now want to make easier, the whole chart review process, automate a lot of processes that really make the work of the clinician more enjoyable. So that is why we decided to transition into this hub model where we gather these sort of Avengers, right? Like clinical Avengers, if you want to call it that. And then we really want to partner with the best, right? So, and thanks God, you don't require to be backed by a super busy company. You can simply use their APIs of top companies, as everyone is doing right now, right? Let's say OpenAI or other companies. So we want to gather really the best of each area, whether it's scheduling or whether it's telehealth or whether it's AI. So we want to gather the best and consolidate them via DeepCura, and that's what we're trying to achieve.
That's great. I mean, that's usually I always ask a question specifically about what's next, and you just outlined that. So I think that's key. I mean, because this will be my little nugget to share. I think clinicians have 4 things that we need, help with, because they're the things that kind of bog our day down. I mean, one of them is documentation, which clearly is being addressed with this technology already, and will continue to get better. There's the clinical review, which, we just spent some time talking about. Then the third thing is like kind of the actual processing or putting in of orders is something. So that's probably something to think about. And then the last one is like that proverbial in-basket that we have, the EHR kind of in-basket, which, there's some companies kind of going after that too, which I think is, but I mean, that's kind of the 4, I think those are the 4 main quadrants, that a clinician spends most of their day outside of direct, patient care, dealing with. And if technology can help to augment and solve those, that's. Can
I ask you like a 20-second question? Like, what will be your dream feature? If I can just ask you, do you have something in mind? I mean, if you don't want to share, it's okay. But I just want to see if we can extract some golden nuggets out of you.
Yeah, no, a good question. I think one of the biggest challenges, which again, I think you kind of were alluding to wanting to do this, but like if you can really hone in on this, like what's so hard for a clinician is when they don't know the patient that they're seeing in front of them, but potentially in their chart, there's a treasure trove of information. And I think, having some sort of technology tool that can present the stuff that's pertinent to them, like you said, every clinician is different. So like the stuff that's pertinent to that specialty and to the information that they need, that would help so many things. You think of like physicians that see people just for like acute things, kind of urgent care kind of stuff, where you don't know the person at all, the emergency room. And then you think of like specialties, that are seeing someone for consultation, they don't. So they just, those folks spend a lot of time, for lack of a better term, chart sleuthing, so I really think that is like something that is really needed. And then I think probably the second thing to your question is, it's similar, but related to the digital in-basket that most clinicians have as a part of their EHR. And that too, if you're covering somebody else or it's a patient that's not really familiar to you, like you don't know what you did recently. So like being able to surface content, that's relevant and actionable, I think is key. Those are, again, if clinicians get that information in front of them in a easy to digest way, and and it's accurate and easy to action on, they'll be able to do more and take care of more people. So
appreciate that. Yeah, it's good.
Awesome. Well, let's, like the last part of all of our podcasts, we always have what we call the nerd alert round, where we just kind of get to know you a little bit more. So I'm going to ask you just a few questions, and these are fun questions, not meant to be obviously stressful or anything. But we talked about a little bit before we shared that. Well, I saw your phone number was a San Diego number. But like along the lines of places, have you ever traveled somewhere or been to a place where you were just like, man, this place is amazing. I gotta add this, or it could be a place you really, fantasize about going to.
Oh yeah. So far Switzerland is like, so far I just went one time and I was like, you know what? This is like Harry Potter's hours, right? Like very magical place. So definitely Switzerland. And there are some towns that are like really seem very magical, but out of this world. But yeah, I think to respond to your question.
No, that's cool. We recently last spring, we went to the United Kingdom with our kids, and it's kind of the same thing. There's so much more history there, like just human history, of, and the buildings and the cities and everything. It's very different than, anywhere that I grew up, and so, no, super cool. have you read a book recently that particularly, struck a chord, either related to what you're doing or anything else?
Yeah, I feel generationally bad at that question. I haven't read books lately. What I do a lot is watch a lot of YouTube videos, and I do that. So I feel it's like, yeah, I don't read books, which might sound bad, but it's the truth. I just watch YouTube videos, and sometimes I use ChatGPT to summarize the whole hour of content. And mainly all of the videos that I watch are related to the business itself. Like try to stay updated. What is the latest innovation this week? Because it's literally like that. Every week there's something new. So that's how we are able to also stay afloat, because watch YouTube videos.
No, but that's crazy. I mean, so usually, we titled this podcast "Efficiency Unlocked" because both Dale and I mean, that's what we're passionate about, is like trying to make things more efficient, for our physician colleagues, then ultimately, for everybody else down the healthcare chain. But we also like to make our personal lives efficient too, with tools. And so like what you just shared there, summarizing a YouTube video, so you don't even necessarily have to listen to the whole thing, right? Like you can get the content of it and kind of digest it through ChatGPT. I mean, do you have...
Yeah, it's like the closest thing to the scene of the Matrix, where you're like, oh, I know Kung Fu or something like that. So the closest thing we have to do.
No, it is. I agree. So do you have another kind of like efficiency hack that you particularly think is great? And it could be related to using, any of the generative AI models or not.
Yeah, I think just like ask a lot of whys and go to like a deeper layer, like why, but why and why. I think if you have that approach in life, you just have a deeper understanding, and you have you have more substance, I think, and also, yeah, I just asking the why and why.
Yeah,
just not having a superficial knowledge of stuff. I think
that's cool. Constant learner. I mean, that's how you continue to grow. Is there anything right now that you couldn't live without if someone said you had to give up?
Oh yeah, for sure. My kid and my wife. Yeah, super easy.
Yeah, that's I think about that every single day as well. I'm like, man, if that family wasn't around, it would be a tough situation. All right, last kind of, I'll do two more kind of fun ones. Do you have a favorite hobby outside of work?
Yeah, play Call of Duty, which I haven't done in a year, but that will be I've been really like a workaholic, man. I'm gonna be honest. Before it was DeepCura, it was more like playing video games and all of that. But now I just work and spend time with my family. And I don't have my hobby is the company, I guess, or just watching YouTube videos.
Yeah,
that's it.
Because you're trying to grow and scale it, which that's great. Well, I guess this last one, if you could have like a superpower, what would it be?
It's hard. I don't know. I think, I'm just gonna say something cliche. Just traveling time. That's it.
No, that's a good one. Yeah, that's. I mean, I feel like so much of this ChatGPT stuff now, even what we can do with it, is somewhat of a superpower. I mean, I tell people that all the time. It's I mean, the ones that are integrated and non-integrated to different tools, even corporate tools. It's a great one. But yeah, traveling time would be pretty dope too.
Yeah, no, I feel, just to compliment to what you just said right now, it's like really powerful, you really have access to everything in a website, right? And like to all the knowledge. So basically now your only job is to be creative, on this ChatGPT thing, it will just make everything like code, or like your only job is to be creative, I think, and be clever strategy wise, and that's it. But
no, and it is. And I think, something you just said right there, that what's crazy is like to think what this technology is going to do in 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, like how much better is it going to be at knowledge, and how much more knowledge is it going to have? I mean, that's where it's going to be insanely crazy.
Yeah. That's why I think like okay, I imagine if I raise like, let's say $50 million, like what would I do with that? Like if I have right now ChatGPT, which like in 1 year, it will be definitely able to outperform like the top engineers in the world. So yeah, it's scary because I know that I'm going to be in that side too, right? I'm going to probably I don't know what's going to happen. The government is going to have to come up with some universal income type of thing. Like I feel like hopefully I won't get replaced as well as an entrepreneur or a developer. But we will see, man. We will see. We're trying to do our best. And
keep doing your best. And I obviously I want to thank you again for taking time to chat about this. And I know the listeners learned a ton of nuggets out of you, but of what you said, and definitely cheering you on. What's the best way to reach out to either you or DeepCura for listeners if they want to reach out?
Yeah, absolutely. So they can just go to their website, and we have an email there at the footer of the website itself. They can also get a demo if they need, or completely self-service. If you don't want to be bothered by a human, you can just go and try the software yourself and watch your YouTube videos completely self-service, and that's it.
Great. Well, awesome, Fern. I wish you the best of luck. And thank you again for taking time to be on the podcast today. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it a lot, Dr. Adam. Have a great day.
Bye-bye. Thank you for listening to Efficiency Unlocked, Nerd Tested, MD Approved, a Nerd MD's podcast by Drs. Adam Carew and Dale Gold.